352 Allied aircraft destroyed, one pilot, one aircraft type, the most successful fighter ace in history. Major Erich Hartmann climbs into the cockpit of his Messerschmitt Bf 109G. Eastern Front, 1944. The Soviet offensive is pushing west. Hundreds of Red Army aircraft fill the sky. Hartmann's mission is simple: shoot down as many as possible. He takes off and climbs to 10,000 meters. His eyes scan the horizon. Below, a formation of Soviet Il-2 Sturmovik ground attack aircraft, 20 of them, escorted by Yak fighters. Hartmann dives. The Bf 109 accelerates past 700 kilometers per hour. Hartmann closes to point-blank range before firing. A 2-second burst from his 20mm cannon. An Il-2 explodes. Hartmann pulls up before the debris can hit him. The Soviet fighters scatter. He climbs again, spots another target, dives, fires, another kill, climbs, dives, fires. By the time he lands, Hartmann has shot down 4 Soviet aircraft. This is a typical mission for him. Sometimes he shoots down more. Hartmann is not unique. Dozens of Luftwaffe pilots exceeded 100 kills flying the Bf 109. Gerhard Barkhorn scored 301 victories. Günther Rall got 275, all in Messerschmitts. All on the Eastern Front, where Soviet aircraft came in endless waves. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 was the most successful fighter aircraft ever built. Over 33,000 produced, over 33,000 enemy aircraft destroyed. It fought on every front, against every opponent, and it killed more Allied pilots than any other weapon that flew. The problem facing Germany in the mid-1930s was strategic. The Treaty of Versailles forbade Germany from building military aircraft, but Hitler planned to rearm. The Luftwaffe needed a modern fighter, something fast, something maneuverable, something that could dominate European skies. The specification went to aircraft manufacturers in 1934. Speed requirement was 400 kilometers per hour minimum. Ceiling requirement was 6,000 meters. The fighter needed to climb fast and turn tight. It needed guns that could destroy enemy bombers. Willy Messerschmitt's design won the competition. The Bf 109 first flew in 1935. It was small, it was light, it had a narrow landing gear that made takeoffs dangerous, but it was fast, and it climbed like nothing else flying. The first combat test came in 1937. German Bf 109s deployed to Spain during the Spanish Civil War. They fought against Soviet-built fighters supporting the Republican side. The Bf 109 dominated completely. Speed advantage, climb advantage, altitude advantage. Republican pilots died in numbers. The lessons from Spain led to improvements. Stronger engine, heavier armament, better cockpit visibility. By 1939, the Bf 109E was ready. This variant would carry the Luftwaffe through the first years of the war. The specifications were impressive for 1939. The Daimler-Benz DB601 engine produced 1,175 horsepower. Maximum speed was 570 kilometers per hour. Service ceiling reached 10,500 meters. Rate of climb was exceptional. The Bf 109 could reach 5,000 meters in under 6 minutes. Armament consisted of 2 7.92mm machine guns in the nose and 2 20mm cannons in the wings. Later variants mounted a 20mm cannon firing through the propeller hub. This centerline weapon was devastating. No convergence issues, point and shoot. The Bf 109 had weaknesses. The narrow landing gear caused accidents. Visibility from the cockpit was poor compared to British fighters. Range was limited. Only 660 kilometers with internal fuel. But in a dogfight, the Bf 109 could outclimb almost anything. The Battle of Britain in 1940 tested the Bf 109 against the RAF. Spitfires and Hurricanes defended British skies. The fights were brutal. Bf 109 pilots had advantages in some areas. They could dive faster. They could climb faster at altitude. But they had one critical weakness: range. German fighters escorting bombers to England operated at their maximum range. They had perhaps 15 minutes over the target before fuel forced them home. RAF fighters took off from bases in England and could fight until their ammunition ran out. The range limitation cost Germany the Battle of Britain. But the Bf 109 continued to evolve. The F variant came in 1941. Cleaner aerodynamics, more powerful engine, better performance at altitude. This version is considered the best handling Bf-109 ever built. Pilots loved it. Then came the G variant, the Gustav. This became the most produced version, over 24,000 built, more powerful engine, heavier armament, pressurized cockpit for high-altitude combat. But the Gustav was heavier than earlier versions. Performance suffered slightly. Still, it remained competitive throughout the war. If you are finding this interesting, a quick subscribe helps more than you know. The Eastern Front became the main hunting ground for Bf-109 pilots. The Soviet Air Force fielded thousands of aircraft. Quality varied. Early war Soviet fighters were obsolete. Bf-109 pilots racked up kills against inferior opponents and inexperienced pilots. Erich Hartmann developed tactics that became standard. Never attack from long range, get close, point-blank shots, 2-second bursts, conserve ammunition, climb back to altitude, repeat. His kill rate was extraordinary because he minimized risk and maximized efficiency. Other aces used the Bf-109 with equal success. Gerhard Barkhorn flew 1,104 combat missions. He was shot down 9 times. He survived every time and kept flying. His 301 victories made him the second highest scoring ace in history. Günther Rall scored 275 kills before injury forced him to stop flying combat. He later said the Bf-109 was the finest aircraft he ever flew. Responsive, fast, deadly in the right hands. The Bf-109 faced increasingly capable opponents as the war progressed. American P-51 Mustangs had longer range and similar performance. British Spitfire Make 9 matched the Bf-109G in most areas. Soviet Yak-3 and La-5 fighters were competitive at low altitude, but the Bf-109 remained dangerous until the end. In 1944 and 1945, experienced German pilots still shot down Allied aircraft. The problem was Germany ran out of experienced pilots. Fuel shortages limited training. New pilots went into combat with minimal hours. They died quickly. The final variant was the K model, introduced in late 1944. More powerful engine, 2,000 horsepower, top speed over 700 kilometers per hour. But by then, Germany was losing the war. Production facilities were being bombed. Fuel was scarce. Experienced pilots were dead. Total production exceeded 33,000 aircraft, more than any other fighter in history. The Bf-109 served from 1937 to 1945, 8 years of continuous combat. No other aircraft matched its combat record. Comparisons with Allied fighters show the Bf-109's strengths and weaknesses. Against the Supermarine Spitfire, the contest was roughly even. The Spitfire turned tighter. The Bf-109 climbed faster and dove better. Pilot skill determined the outcome more than aircraft performance. Against the P-51 Mustang, the Bf-109 was outmatched in range. The Mustang could escort bombers deep into Germany. The Bf-109 could not. But in a turning fight, the two aircraft were competitive. The P-51 had better visibility. The Bf-109 had better climb rate. Against Soviet fighters, performance varied by altitude. At low altitude, Soviet Yak-3 and La-5 fighters were dangerous opponents. They turned well and accelerated quickly, but above 5,000 meters, the Bf-109 dominated. German pilots learned to fight high where their aircraft had advantage. The Bf-109's legacy extended beyond the war. Israel flew Bf-109s in 1948 during their independence war. Spain built Bf-109s under license and used them into the 1960s. Czechoslovakia operated them post-war. The design proved so sound that it remained useful 20 years after its first flight. The influence on post-war fighter design was significant. The centerline cannon became standard. High wing loading for speed became accepted. The combination of machine guns and cannon armament influenced Cold War fighters. Modern analysis shows the Bf-109 was not the best fighter of the war in any single category. The P-51 had better range. The Spitfire had better turn rate. The FW-190 had better roll rate, but the Bf-109 was good enough in every category to remain competitive for 8 years. And the kill numbers speak for themselves. 33,000 enemy aircraft destroyed, more than any other fighter type in history. Erich Hartmann alone shot down 352. Gerhard Barkhorn got 301. 15 Luftwaffe pilots exceeded 200 victories. All flew Bf-109s primarily. Eastern Front, 1944. Erich Hartmann lands after another mission. 4 kills today. His Bf-109G has bullet holes in the tail. Minor damage. Ground crew will patch it overnight. Tomorrow he will fly the same aircraft on the same mission against the same endless waves of Soviet aircraft. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 was not invincible. Allied pilots shot them down by the thousands. Production could not keep pace with losses. Germany lost the war despite having the most successful fighter ever built. But in the hands of a skilled pilot, the Bf-109 was the most dangerous aircraft in the sky. Faster than most opponents. Better climb rate than almost anything. Armament that could destroy any aircraft with a 2-second burst. 352 Allied aircraft destroyed. 1 pilot. 1 aircraft type. That record will likely never be broken. And it happened because the Messerschmitt Bf-109 gave its pilots the tools they needed to dominate the air. From 1937 to 1945. Over every battlefield. Against every enemy, the deadliest fighter that ever flew.